Alright fam, we back at it again. Welcome to the channel. I'm going to tell you the truth. Initially I was going to do an unboxing of the FiTech fuel injection system, but I had a head cam, battery went dead, I lost most of the footage, and so I just scrapped that. So I'm just going to go right over the equipment that we got. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but we got a sheet metal intake, a couple things that I've noticed. It looked pretty good except for there's a bunch of little nicks. I don't know if you could see that there. So right down here too, you could see that. Not too big of a deal. Also on this port here as well, some more nicks on the surface there. Not a big deal because if you know the LS, they have these rubber seals. Actually, they may be Viton seals, but needless to say, there's a rubber or Viton seal that'll go around the ports itself, so it's not actually like an old school small block Chevy where you have a flat gasket that lays across the surface. Other than that, it looked fairly good. I'm just using this really to replace the intake I have because I believe there's a vacuum leak somewhere in it, and not to mention the ejectors. These are a little too big for my application on my current setup, which is another sheet metal intake, but it's a generic one, a generic throttle body. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace those. And my injectors are a little too big, so I wanna get those out of there and put these 55-pound injectors. I'm kind of fighting it into tune with running rich, so I'm hoping this kit will solve it. It was just the quickest, easiest way to get all the pieces I needed all in one kit. If you were watching the video of Hot August Nights where I stopped by the Summit Racing store in Sparks, Nevada, if you're interested in the video where I bought the manifold and I went to the Summit showroom, you could go ahead and check that out up here. I'll put a link to that video. But remember to watch this one first before you check that one out because we don't want to mess up the algorithm for this video. So let's jump back into it here. Got the manifold. It looks all right. There's 4 vacuum ports here so that you know that there's a port there, and then there's a port here. Looks like it's for maybe an air temperature sensor. Let's see what else they have. Looks like there's a port back here for the map sensor. So speaking of map sensors, it came with a map sensor. Now this is a 3-bar sensor that it came with. I already have one, so I don't need that. It also has an air temperature sensor. I believe that's going to be the one that goes in this port here. I already have one, so I may or may not install this one. So in this box we get our new injectors. All right, so we get our 8 injectors, 4 per side. These are the EV1 injectors, I believe. Yeah, so EV1 55-pound injectors. That'll be nice because I believe I have 120-pound injectors and my tune is not liking it. So I'm going to downsize to a 55-pound injector and hopefully that helps me out with my tuning. Some of the things we got here are the seals for the intake manifold here to seal up those ports, and then we have some MPT fittings to barb, so we have those there. I also came with 2 fuel rails, so we'll keep moving along here. Looks like we got bolts here for our fuel rails along with the brackets that hold them in position here. Moving along, we have a crossover line, and then the last piece we really have here is the throttle body. And you get the bolts here for the throttle body. And so on the throttle plate it says FiTech 102 millimeter, if you could see that there, and it's an anodized, looks like anodized red, so looks like it's printed on there, not etched, so it's an ink print. It is etched into the top and it's a nice deep etch. It says FiTech there. That looks nice, and it's a nice deep etch, so that's not going anywhere. It says it on both sides. I believe this throttle body could be mounted in either direction, depending on which side you want your throttle linkage to attach. And another thing to note, we have the IAC, and then we also have the throttle positioning sensor that comes with this throttle body. So it's pretty much ready to go. So yeah, we're ready to put this on. And so let's get right to it. I'm gonna put you guys on the time-lapse camera, and I'll put you guys on a head cam. I'll talk you through some of it, but most of it's going to be time-lapse. I hope you enjoyed the video. So we're going to jump right into it right now. All right, where we're going to get started here is taking apart the harness Just getting some of this stuff out of the way. Just really want to clear his manifold. We'll just end up disconnecting the fuel inlet and outlet on the rails, the crossover, because we got a new one. Or we might even use the old one, I don't know. It might be better than the one supplied. But anyways, we can continue here. Disconnecting fuel injectors. So now we got the fuel injectors disconnected. We'll be able to pull those rails off and the injectors out. Cleared out of the way. We'll just disconnect the crossover and the inlet and outlet on these rails and get the probably just get the rails out of the way. Probably be the easiest. Let's like route this out. So now that we got the injectors disconnected, we're gonna crack this fuel line. This thing's been sitting for a while, but I anticipate there's still fuel in the rail, but it shouldn't be under any pressure. But we'll still crack it slowly here. But yeah, there's nothing coming out. Just a little dribble. All right, and then we'll disconnect this side too. All right, yeah, there's actually a little bit of fuel coming out. All right, so we'll take this crossover out. I'm gonna get my fuel pressure sensor. All good, we'll reuse that. I might reuse this whole crossover then, since I already have this rig in here with the manual fuel pressure gauge, our analog, and then digital fuel pressure gauge. So I'll probably retain that to be reused. So yeah, let me get that apart. Here. We'll just spin that off there and lift this manifold out. Retrieve our bolt and see about lifting this off. Yeah, we're loose. I want to watch this side because of the alternator. And this harness here, gotta fish out. Be able to lift it out. Let's hold on to it. Let me see. I think I got a cooler line for my turbo. I do. Running right through the manifold. Okay. Yeah. That one was unexpected. And hopefully this doesn't drip oil everywhere. I gotta fish this through. All right, I think I'm gonna lift and pull that out. That's my goal. All right, let's go again. And then pull this out. All right, I think we're free. What else? And a little more harness on this side. Come on. There we go. Yeah, and we're free. We got that off. I'm gonna take a quick break before I start switching things over to the new manifold. Like this line to the brake booster. And I got these vacuum fittings here. I don't see any cracks either. I don't know. Something about this intake injection system makes me think I should have never went with it. Something about it. So I'm changing it. I'll probably take my map sensor out though. So I'll probably take that out, swap that over too. And the brake booster in these quick disconnects, I'll move over to the new manifold. I put some gloves on because my hands would get hella dirty. I'm gonna start putting together this intake. Let's do it. Might speed some of this up though, because I'm tired and I'm moving slow, so I should really be sleeping. Cut. This shit is not gonna work. This is the lower rise on the intake, and it's hitting my pulleys. It's gonna put me too close to my crossover pipe. Yeah, this is all kinds of wrong. All right, I don't know. I'm gonna cut this video because this is pretty fucked up and I gotta figure it out now. All right, later. All right, fam, as you can see, we got the intake back on, but it is the original one that we took off. I wanted to swap it out for the FiTech manifold, that black one, but that didn't work out because there was a clearance issue here with this pulley at the front of the engine because it's a truck motor. Although I did buy that manifold specifically for the truck motor when I ordered it. I got it for LM7, which is a truck motor code, but it doesn't fit because it's a lower rise intake. Needless to say, had to put the old intake back on. The injectors also did not work because they were too low, putting my rails too low on the manifold itself, and I ran into some clearance issues there as well. So I have the old rails back in also. Another thing, I did end up using the FiTech throttle body, so I was able to salvage that, but the rest of the components I cannot use, so that kit was worthless to me. Anyways, we deal with the cards that were dealt, so I went ahead and just put the old one back on and then putting the old injectors back in. I did, however, find a seal on one of these ports on the old intake seals that looked like it wasn't seating properly, looked defective. So I went ahead and just swapped out the new seals that came with this new kit onto my old manifolds. So hopefully that fixes our vacuum leak. I wanted to go ahead and start it up tonight. However, there's a couple things that's preventing me from doing that. One is I want to go ahead and change the tune. I did have the tune quite aggressive to get it to run, and I do believe that's because I had a vacuum leak My fuel tables are off, so I'm running really rich on my fuel tables. So I want to dial that back. And also I had to increase the timing. So I'm about 18 degrees in the timing, so I do want to pull that back to about 8 degrees timing before I start it up. As long as the seals on the intake are good and I'm not getting a vacuum leak, it should start with the 8 degrees, and then I'll dial in my fuel tables as well before I start it. The second thing is don't know where my key is. Once I locate the key, I'll go ahead and start it up for you guys, but that'll have to be in another video. But that's going to end it for this video, and I do want to tell you I appreciate you guys watching to the end. If you made it to the end and you like the video, go ahead and smash that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to be notified of my next episode. And until next time, stay good, family. Peace.